Alright, how's it going everyone, and welcome to the Katarina Counterplay series, where we give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit. This is a series where I will talk about how to deal with every champion in League of Legends in the mid lane when playing Katarina. I'm going to tell you how to deal with them pre-level 6, after level 6, and in team fights. And just general Katarina tips here and there of what to watch out for against that specific champion. This is episode 2, so make sure you guys watch episode 1. I'm doing these champions in alphabetical order. So, also for number 7, guys, we're doing a special one for that. I will show you guys, you'll see in a sec. Not in a sec, you'll see maybe in 40 plus minutes or something, because these episodes will be long all the time. On top of that, I will show you guys the masteries that I use, the runes that I use depending on the matchup, because I have 2 rune pages for separate matchups, and I will also show you the build path against these champions as shown here, and what is the best situational item on the on my left side. There we go. These items right here. I will tell you which item you should go for after Gunblade, depending on the matchup, depending on the situation. And really, that's the TLDR. Let's begin. So, number 1 is Cassiopeia. Everyone knows Cassiopeia is super annoying, so I'm sure a lot of you are anxious to hear about the Cassiopeia one, because we all know Cassiopeia is obnoxious in laning phase because she has Q poison, she poisons you, and then what does she do? She gets extra movement speed per level. The more points she has in Q, the more movement speed she gets. That's why you see a lot of Cassiopeia players go for Ghost go for the Ghost Summoner spell, and they try to Alninio at level 2 or something, right? Because they think they can. And most Cassiopeia players also go AP flat glyphs because they really want to make use of that early pressure and the early movement speed to really get at you. Not every Cassiopeia player. Not every, but some of them like to really play aggressive early, and I'm sure we've all experienced that. Okay, things to watch out for pre-level 6 against Cassiopeia. You always want to dodge her Q. Her Q is exactly 3.5 seconds at all levels, like every single point in Q, it doesn't matter, it's gonna be 3.5 seconds. If she buys cooldown glyphs, if she buys any cooldown item, that's obviously gonna lower it even more, so she's gonna just spam Q, Q, Q all day. So you want to dodge that, because that's her main spell to continue her damage. Because if she misses Q, she really has no huge amount of damage. Her Twin Fang, yes, it will deal damage, but it will not do bonus damage. If you are poisoned, you receive bonus damage. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be Cassiopeia poison. It can be even singed poison. It could be a Timo mushroom, right? These are all poison, and they all work with Cassiopeia's E. Basically, if you get poisoned and Cassiopeia uses her E, she deals bonus magic damage to you. So what do you want to do? You want to try to avoid as many Qs as possible in lane. It's 3.5 seconds, so you have time to punish that. So this stuff is here, like pre-level 6 stuff right here. You know, you can still deal a lot of damage to her during laning phase. You have a pretty decent advantage over her. Like, if she misses a Q, punish that shit instantly, on the spot. You know, she uses Q to maybe hit the minions or try to poke at you. If you see her in a pretty shitty position, you have exactly 3.5 seconds to get something done at this point. Not too much time, you don't have much time, but you can punish that. Like, E, basic attack, you E on her, basic attack, Q, W together. I just press them like this together. You know, wait for the W spin, jump on the Q dagger. And she's gonna try to fight back, right? You know, because you're in front of her face. But with a longsword start, you deal so much damage. Let me quickly get to the runes and mastery that I use against Cassiopeia. This is the masteries I will use against all matchup. Like every single matchup I played, this is the mastery. So I'm not gonna over show this to you guys. I'm just gonna show it to you once here. So just, you know, pause the video if you wanna use this mastery right now. And that's the only mastery I will use in all matchups. I'm not gonna change anything. Okay, so that's that. And then the runes I will use against Cassiopeia, here they are. I will use full magic pen glyphs, full health per level seals, full AD marks, 2 AP quints, and 1 magic pen quint. This will give me exactly 7.7 magic penetration, as I explained in episode 1. As I explained in episode 1, I go for the magic pen and quints because I want to get the same amount of magic pen as I would have in Reds. Full Magic Pen Reds is 7.8 Magic Penetration. With this rune page you get 7.7, you only miss out on 0.1, and you have AP damage, so you have strong early game as well, along with your AD marks. The items we start with are Longsword, Health Pots, right, and Gunblade. This build right here, this starting stuff, is you always go with that on Cat, because that's her main strength. That's where her strength comes from. Like, if you rush like an Abyssal, Luden, like, it's fine, you know, if you don't want Gunblade, that's fine, but I honestly recommend you guys to Gunblade with Cat, because Gunblade is the best way to play Katarina, period. And Luden's good, Rylai's rush is good, you know, these are okay, you know, they're okay, but Gunblade is perfect. Like, it's not even okay, it's far from okay. Like, it's way up there. Gunblade is just so good on Katarina, and AD early is really good because of her passive, which gives her a percentage of AD, which is a lot higher early game than late game. Sorry, I phrased that wrong. Her AP is less strong early, her AD is more strong early. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why you want to go Gunblade, that's why you start Longsword. So that's, let me keep that on, and here are your item choices. After that, you can go Rylai, Abyssal, Zhonya, or Ramadan. Forgot to put in Luden's Ekko, so I just put it right there. You want to go Luden's Ekko when you're snowballing. You remember when I said earlier go Rabadon? Don't go for Rabadon as a second item after Gunblade, go for Luden. Luden is better because it's giving you that extra mobility, and it's really good on Katarina early. And also Rabadon is really good when you have a lot of AP, so Gunblade and then going instantly from Gunblade to Rabadon is okay, but you want to make full use of the unique passive, and I really honestly think if you're snowballing, Luden is the way to go. So when you're snowballing, go for Luden. Rylai, when you're not making enough money, or you feel like you need money, you feel like you're not farming as good as you think you should, you can go Rylai. Abyssal, situational against Annie, LeBlanc, etc, etc. Burst, Mage, AP type of champions, Abyssal. Rabadon after Gunblade is situational. If you're feeling like you can snowball, I would never do this, by the way. I'd never go Gunblade and Rabadon after, only because Rabadon's unique passive gives you 35% increased AP based on how much AP you have. Like, you want to have a decent amount of AP before buying Rabadon is what I'm trying to say. It will give you 35% increased ability power based on how much AP you have. And then Zhonya when you're up against Zed. So buy any of these accordingly, and then buy situationally. Pre-level 6 against Cassiopeia, like I said, you want to watch out for those poisons. If she lands it, she'll lose bonus damage with her E, so you want to not give her the most amount of damage possible. The best way to deal with a Cassiopeia during laning phase pre-level 6 is let her throw out her Q. Try not to get hit by it. If you do get hit by it, don't all in. Like, that's #1 mistake. If you get hit by a miasma, which is, by the way, the arc she throws out, it's like a poison arc, like this. If you get hit by that, you are actually poisoned while inside, but once you leave, the poison dies out. So don't fight inside the poison, obviously. I think that's an obvious thing. Like, do not do that, because then she'll do increased magic damage with her E. And if she poisons you with Q, or Singed Poison, or Teemo Mushroom, or any of this, do not try to 1v1 her. Don't try to fight her, because she will destroy you. Like this, you know, because keep in mind her E, her Twin Fangs, is on 0.75 seconds exactly 0.75 seconds on all levels. So you want to watch out for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I am pretty sure it's 0.75 seconds. Pretty sure. That's something we want to watch out for. Once you hit level 6, once like she pushes the lane, right? She pushes lane, you're stuck on the turret, let's say. This is when she's pushing against you, and let's say you're half health, you took so much poke damage with her Twin Fangs, with the poisons. Let's say you're having a rough lane, right? You're getting crushed. You know, she tries to usually, at this point, try to Q. Once she lands Q, she ghosts in, and then she throws out Twin Fangs. Boom, 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 boom. Just keeps throwing shit at you constantly. It's annoying, right? And she can kill you like that. Plus, since Q gives her mobility, and every point in Q gives her extra bonus movement speed, she can then use Ghost and give her even more movement speed, and then she can just keep throwing Twin Fang, Twin Fang, Twin Fang, and it's so rough. So you want to be careful from that. When you're on the turret, you have to try to be able to dodge her Qs. Just play it safe. last hit carefully, sit back. Don't risk going for a minion when you don't have to. If you think you can take a minion and get poked by it, it's not worth. Just take the minion and try not to get poked by her Q. That's also one thing Cassiopeia players will tend to do. Let's say you're in the middle of the lane, you try to go for that last hit on this minion, as soon as you raise your knife, boom, Cassiopeia walks in, boom, Qs you, Twin Fang, Twin Fang, Twin Fang, Twin Fang as you're walking back, or as you Shampoo back. So you want to be careful when you use Shampoo here. You don't want to Shampoo, we don't want to have your Shampoo on cooldown when you try and last hit a minion, because she will punish you for that. So what's the best way to deal with this? You either Q the minion and last hit it, or quickly walk up to it and then have your mouse instantly to shampoo on a minion, so you avoid the Q. That's how you deal with Cassiopeia. Just don't receive Q damage, don't get poisoned, because she benefits from that so much. That increased Twin Fang damage is bizarre. So most Cassiopeia players will max E, because E is the damage ability, E is the, it increases the damage, and then they'll max Q to get that extra bonus movement speed as the game goes on and on. So that's something you want to watch out for. Level 6, once you hit level 6 and after, Cassiopeia gets a little rougher because it's hard to predict when exactly she's going to ult. A lot of Cassiopeia players will tend to wait for you to use your ultimate and then ult. A lot of players would actually just ult you as soon as you go on them, which is actually the best thing. The best thing that can happen is that they ulti and then your ulti is still up. So that's the best thing that can happen. But this is what you want to do. Like, let's say she's level 6, okay? She uses Q on the wave, she tries to hit you, and boom, that's when you shampoo on her. Shampoo, basic attack, Q, W, and just keep at her. Don't use your ultimate, just keep at her, right? Let the W dagger land, get a spin, shampoo on the Q dagger after, keep basic attacking, see what she does. Is she gonna ult? Is she gonna flash? Is she gonna ghost? What's she gonna do, right? Keep in mind, you have 3.5 seconds here before she gets her poison stack again. So when you all in a Cassiopeia, you have to commit, because if you walk away, she gets free hits, right? Q, right, and then you're walking away, right? E, every 0.75 seconds, she keeps throwing Twin Fangs and it gets bonus damage, and you're just eating that damage, right? It's not fun, trust me. You have to at least have some minions to shampoo to, right? So you want to be careful. When you commit to an all-in, make sure you really commit to it, really all-in, really get shit done. Other than that, when I say see what she does, like see if she ults, right? I wouldn't recommend ulting unless she's low health or somewhere low health. And make sure you have shampoo from the spin dagger. Like, don't just shampoo again after you grab the Q dagger, right? You just take the spin and then keep basic attacking. Save your shampoo after you pick the spin on the Q dagger, and then just wait, see what she does. If she flashes, E after her. Just be careful if she gets in her turret. She might, ulti you on the turret, but at this point you have R, and maybe she's low health. You can kill her that way. So it's tough. It's tough to say exactly how to deal with Cass, because some Cass players do things differently. But I know that the good Cassiopeia players will always use their ults when you use ulti. So what you want to do is, most of the time when you use your R and you really want to kill her, you simply look away. You simply look away from the Cassiopeia. Okay, let's say this camera is Cassiopeia's ultimate. Boom! I do this, and I throw knives. I throw the knives like this. Oh, I don't see you, Cassiopeia. I don't get stunned. See, easy. So you just walk back quickly. Just put your mouse behind, and then press R. Most Cassiopeia players will always ulti when Katarina ults, despite not knowing where you positioned yourself. Right? If you're looking at her, or if you're looking away from her, because she only stuns you if you're looking face to face. So you wanna play carefully here. Like, don't just as soon as you go and press R. Like, you need to really be patient here. Like, plan carefully and press R carefully. Just make sure you watch out for that. Other than that, guys, in team fights, it's so dependent on the situation, so dependent on the compositions. In late game team fights, it's so hard to say how to exactly get shit done, because keep in mind, by the way, most Cassiopeia players will go Seraph's Embrace, which is, by the way, a shield. So if you boom, press that button, it gives you a shield. Shields really suck for Katarina. So you want to watch out for those shields. You want to keep in mind that when it's on cooldown, when it's off cooldown. You want to pay attention to summoner spells, if they have flash, if they have ghost. Be careful not to get poisoned, because you'll receive so many Twin Fangs after, and she gets that bonus movement speed, and it's so annoying. And she, on top of that, by the way, she heals from the Twin Fang bonus damage when you're poisoned, so you want to be careful from that. Careful from her late game miasma. She can completely fuck you over. You can't flash, you can't shampoo. That really sucks, so you need to try to avoid that. Thankfully, it's on a pretty high cooldown, but Cassiopeia can counter that with, you know, CDR. It's around, correct me if I'm wrong, her miasma is like 16 seconds or 18 seconds, somewhere around that range. It's pretty high cooldown, so that can be also punished during laning phase, by the way, since it's on a high cooldown. You can punish that by all-inning her, but also you need to watch out for her Q, because her Q gives her movement speed. She can escape you. She can escape gank so easily with Q, Ghost. Just Q someone and then Ghost away. She gets that bonus movement speed, just very easily can escape. Other than that, summary, Cassiopeia is manageable to some extent if you play it smart. It depends on the Cassiopeia player. It depends on so many things, guys. So it depends on so many situations, so many scenarios. So really, in the end, it comes down to how you play and how the Cassiopeia plays and how you guys make the decisions. I can only give you the raw information of how to exactly deal with that, but the rest is really just in your hands. In your hands. Okay, so as you can see, Cassiopeia now is crossed out. Now next up is Cho'gath. Cho'gath. Where do I even get started with this guy? Let's first talk about runes and the items and the masteries. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about masteries. I'm going to quickly show you again. Same masteries, guys. I'm not going to repeat myself on this because I know you guys will find that pretty annoying if I keep showing the same thing. So, but yeah, that's the masteries we're always going to use. The runes we're going to use are the same runes. We have two separate rune pages, one with versus AD, one with versus AP. So same rune page exactly, not gonna go too deep into that. And we start Longsword, Health Pot, and Gunblade. So, you know, this is always going to be your starting items. You always go Gunblade. Gunblade's amazing. And next up is your decision based on the situation, right, with these items. Now, mostly against Cho'gath, a lot of you would think, just go Abyssal Scepter, you know, it's really, really good. That's how you deal with Cho'gath. But a lot of situations, you don't exactly have to, only because his ulti does true damage, which hurts. Abyssal, sure, it's good, right? I mean, Cho'gath Q does AP, all his shit does magic damage. But one thing to keep in mind is, when I play against Cho'gath, I would mostly always go either Rylai, because it's a good item, it gives you health, and it's really annoying versus Cho'gath to just constantly be at your face and, you know, knock up, but you want to avoid those. I'll get deep into that in a sec. Luden is when you're snowballing. Let's say you kill him early game, because his early game you can pressure him early. It's Cho'gath, right? I mean, his early is actually pretty horrendous compared to his late game. That's when you want to watch out for. His late game scaling is monstrous. A lot of people can easily say it's easy. It's easy to play Cho'gath against Cat. You'll always win, but that's not always the case. It really depends how you play. Rabadon, I would not get Rabadon. I mean, self-explanatory. I would not get Rabadon. Most Cho'gath players go Roa, Rod of Ages, and they would go Abyssal. You know, they'd have like so much health, right? They'd have so much health. So Rabadon, nah, I would not get Rabadon ever as after Gunblade. But if you want, sure. It's nothing wrong with it. I don't prefer it. If you're snowballing, Luden always. Zhonya, kinda. Not something you need. Basically, items to go for: Rylai, or you could go Rylai, Luden, or Abyssal, depending on the situation here. So you're snowballing like crazy. You owned him like 3-0 in lane thanks to your ganks. Go Luden. You can actually destroy the enemy carries. You don't have to focus Cho'gath at all. Like, you can go Gunblade into Luden. That's it, right? You can go Abyssal if you feel like you're threatened, but I would never go Abyssal against Cho'gath, only because I don't care. Like, I really don't care about his damage. I can avoid it pretty easily. His knockup has a delay. You can just jump out of his knockup so easily. Yes, he's threatening in lane. He has self-built-in sustain, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty obnoxious. It's pretty obnoxious to some extent, but you don't need an Abyssal against a non-burst AP champion. He's not a burst champion. His ulti is the only burst. So you want to always try to stay away from him in melee range. That's something to keep in mind. But yeah, those are the items typically that you want to go for. Now, pre-level 6 against Cho'gath, you want to watch out for not really much, to be honest, because the thing is, his pre-level 6 is not that strong. His main strength comes within his late game HP, his late game tankiness. That's where he becomes really threatening to deal with. He's actually pretty much unkillable. Like, you cannot touch him. He has a silence and he has a knock-up. The best way to deal with Cho'gath pre-level 6 is actually wait for his silence, and that's it. That's the one thing you want to watch out for. Yes, you might say, well, actually, you need to wait for both silence and knock-up. No, you do not have to wait for both. You wait for the silence, because silence is the main way to deal with you, right? So pre-level 6, let's say he used silence on the wave, or he used silence on you and actually silenced you, but who cares, right? It's on cooldown. His silence is now on cooldown. Okay, this is where you go in, right? He's no silence. E, basic attack, Q, W together. Wait for the W to land. Whoosh, lands, shampoo on the Q dagger after. Right? This is your typical harass after he throws a silence. You want to punish him for that. You have to go in and punish him when he has this little bit of vulnerability. Keep in mind, you might get knocked up in this situation because he might have knock-up. So you want to be careful with that. When you throw the W after you jump on him and basic attack him, when you throw the W, you need to try to dodge it. You know, try to walk to the right, try to walk to the left or something. He's gonna do an animation, right? When Cho'gath does a knock-up, you know, he stands up and then boom, he does this animation of boom, right? Once he does that animation, he actually cannot move in that little bit of time. So he actually preemptively slows himself from getting to his turret by doing that. So that's the good part, right? You have time for your W to land on the ground and actually get a spin on the W to damage him with that. So you walk to the right, avoid the knock-up, and then you go on the W dagger, get the spin, shampoo on your Q dagger, and then at this point he's so vulnerable because he has no silence and no knock-up. All he can do is basic attack, basic attack, basic attack, and that's not threatening for shit. That's not threatening at all. You completely overpower him late game. Once you reach level 6, he becomes a little bit more obnoxious. Keep in mind, the best way to punish Cho'gath is when his silence is down and his knock-up is down cooldown. Both of them. If he uses it on the minion wave, if he uses it on you, that's the best way to punish Cho'gath. And it's actually so easy to punish him because he's like a fat tank walking around, minding his own business, pressing buttons, but he actually takes considerably no proper skill to play, right? He's pretty easy to understand, okay? When I say easy to understand, like, it's so easy to understand a Cho'gath player. He's not going to do something special. All he's going to do is basic attack, use Q, use silence. I mean, you cannot, like, think, like, oh, what can Cho'gath do with this? I'm curious. You know, when you look at the Z player, for example, he can do so many things with his W shadow, right? He can R, W, and then maybe go back to his R shadow after Zonya, and then quickly go back to his R shadow, do things like... Zed is a lot less more, he's not predictable, right? A good Zed player can do so many things. A good Cho'gath player, you know, no matter how good you are with Cho'gath, it's so easy to predict what you're gonna do, you know what I mean? There's nothing special or mechanical about it, so it's easy to understand what he's planning. That's my point, compared to a Zed player who's really good and really gets shit done and knows how to outplay. I'm just giving you a comparison here, just so you understand what I'm trying to say on how to deal with Cho'gath, right? So, you want to watch out. The best way to punish him is wait for his silence, wait for his knock-up. Best way to deal with it, ever. Because he will have nothing to actually counterplay that. Once you go on him, he has no way of actually retaliating. All he can do is basic attack or walk back to his turret. You're good to go here. You can even ult him. You can even just all-in ult him. He's not going to do anything. All he's going to do is ulti, and that just does damage. It doesn't cancel your Death Lotus. So that's the best way to deal with Cho'gath, is to actually punish his cooldowns, and you can win. One thing you want to watch out for is when you poke him and, you know, you keep poking him and shit, he's just going to lifesteal back. He's going to just basic attack the minions and get back his HP. So poking is not the best way to deal with him. The best way to deal with the Cho'gath is actually take action. That's why we start with this. We start with Longsword. That's why we start with this item right here. Because it's an aggressive item on Katarina. And I will explain once more. Her AD ratios on her passive is so good early, rather than AP. That's why I don't start Dark Seal. That's why I start Longsword. And I'd also like to thank Catastrophical real quick for emphasizing this point. By the way, fantastic Katarina player. He's like a fucking genius. Like, I swear, fucking genius, right? Your longsword gives you that extra early AD damage, so powerful. You know, there is a huge comparison from Darkseal to this. The early AD from the spin is so much better than the early AP you get from Darkseal. If you want to play aggressive, if you want to really go all in, which you can 100% against the Cho'gath, go for it. If you feel like you want to sustain the lane, you want to, you know, you don't want to fight too much, you're just trying to farm, or maybe if you're not mechanically amazing on Katarina, go Darkseal. Keep him. A lot of people mistake, like, oh, why do you get Darkseal against Cho'gath? You know, you don't need stacks against Cho'gath. You're not gonna kill Cho'gath. Well, actually, number one, you can kill a Cho'gath 100% if you know what you're doing and you use the brain and actually punish Cho'gath abilities that are on cooldown. You can absolutely do that, right? And number two, Darkseal is not a bad item. It's okay, but I would still recommend Longsword all the time. Longsword is the way to go if you're playing aggressive, and if you know what you're gonna do in lane, you know how much damage you do, go Longsword, definitely. So once Cho'gath hits level 6, you know, that's when he starts to become, a little bit annoying, because he has his, he can chomp you, right? Eats you, shit sucks, right? Sucks bad. So wanna watch out for the chomp. It does quite a lot of damage. Try not to get too close in melee range. Try not to get knocked up. If you get ganked and he knocks up, that's game over for you. Like, let's say a Vi comes in, ults, and then on top of that Cho'gath knocks you up, you're gonna get chomped 100%. It's gonna suck. It's gonna silence you. You can't jump away from that. So those are things you wanna be careful of in the laning phase. If Cho'gath gets a good gank, you are definitely dead, because his ult does true damage, and that shit hurts bad. Real bad. So you wanna watch out for that. In teamfights, at this point of the game, he has so many ult stacks. There is literally zero reason. No matter how hard you beat a Cho'gath in laning phase, he will always be tanky as hell in the late game. Doesn't matter if you 5-0 him, right? He's Cho'gath. Once he reaches late game, he's just gonna eat stacks, you know, use his stacks, get a whole bunch of AP. He will have a Rod of Ages fully stacked. He'll have, you know, Abyssal, he'll have a bunch of Amar, a bunch of damage. That's terrifying, alright? That sight of watching a Cho'gath with 6 stacks and a fully stacked Roa is terrifying, so you have absolutely no reason to fight him ever. Thankfully, he's an immobile piece of shit. He's so immobile. Use that to your advantage. You're Katarina, you're a beast, so what to do? Focus the other champions. Get rid of them, get rid of their carries, get rid of their Zyra support, or something like that. Don't ever try to fight Cho'gath who's full HP, ever. You only fight Cho'gath when you see him drop low. By the way, at that stage of the game, you should get a Void Staff, 100%. You definitely want Void Staff. So, you know, once you get Gunblade, Sork Shoes, you know, you get whatever item it is that you get, like Rylai or something, then you want Void Staff. Most of the time, after your third item, after Gunblade and Sork Shoes, and whatever it is you get here, you should get a Void Staff here. Don't delay it too much, you do need a Void Staff. Just because most people would build Amar, unless they're stupid, then that's a different story. So always make sure you press tab to make sure that they don't have fully stacked Amar or some crazy shit like that. You want to watch out for Amar. But yeah, that's really it. That's how you deal with Cho'gath in most of the scenarios. Okay, so as you can see here, Cho'gath is now jotted out. Cho'gath's gone. Next up is Corki. Now against Corki, you want to go for the same masteries, which I will not show again because I know you guys already know. And here are the runes that we will go. We go for versus AP runes. Same runes as we've used versus Cassiopeia and Cho'gath. Okay, same as that. We start Longsword, Health Pot, and we get Gunblade. Same thing. This is a universal type of early build path. I use the word universal, by the way, because you always buy these. No matter what the situation is, no matter what champion matchup, you always want to get this. So, always, no matter if they have a LeBlanc burst bullshit, just go Gunblade. Gunblade is the best way to play Katarina. It gives her lifesteal, so you have survivability, you have the damage as well. The active is amazing. I keep the Gunblade on, if you guys are curious, I keep the Gunblade on number 3 because it's right on top of Shampoo. Most of the time when I combo someone, I press E and then Gunblade together, like this. Get my fingers like this, together. I don't press E, then 3, I press them together. Because I want to get that, like, I want it instantly. As soon as the Shampoo, boom. I just mash them like that. to get to someone. So I don't just, you know, wait to get in range and then E. No, I press them like that together, and then basic attack, and then do your thing after that. WQ, etc., etc. Just to give you an idea of how I use Gunblade, because I don't think I said that in this episode. But yeah, next up, you want to go for one of these situation items based on what you think is best against Corki. Most of the time, Ludin. Most of the time, because he's such a squishy little, he's a donkey, right? He's a squishy little donkey. You know, donkeys are so easy to wreck, right? He's a little walking, or flying, I should say, flying helicopter mustached man. Pretty easy to beat. That's why you go Ludin's Ekko, because it's a snowball, very, very strong most of the time. If you find yourself not exactly snowballing, then go Rylai's Crystal Scepter. I wouldn't go Abyssal, only because he's not a burst type of AP champion. He doesn't burst you, right? He does a lot of damage. He has a lot of poke, and you know, his Q can be burst to some extent. It can be seen as burst, but he's not like Annie, Syndra, LeBlanc. He's nothing compared to those champions. So I wouldn't recommend Abyssal as much. Ludin and Rylai, check. You know, these are good items. I would definitely get one of these. Rabadon, no, just no. I usually would never go Rabadon. Like I said, I would never go Rabadon after Gunblade, unless you're cocky as shit and you feel like you can really get it done. But even then, the unique passive on Rabadon is not after Gunblade. It works really well after you buy any of these items, just to give you that extra 35% unique passive from AP, which Rabadon gives and is really good. Zhonya, no. Most of the time, no. You're better off with a Rylai actually over Zhonya, just because I really like the HP and the slow. It's good. And then number two is that it's cheap. It's cheap as shit. So that's the best part about it, is that it's so easy to pick up. You know, anyone can pick this up like this after Gunblade. Good item, really good item. But most of the time, I would go Ludin, just because Corki is kind of squishy, and you know, he's pretty easy. He's okay. Here, I'll give you an example. Okay, he's like this, right? Easy to squish, easy to wreck, easy to throw, like he's a little toy, okay? Pretty easy to kill. Pretty terrible analogies that I'm giving on today's episode, guys. I'm sorry, alright? I'm sorry, but whatever, right? We treat him like a toy. He's a little shitter, okay? That's Corki. Just pop him in the ass with Ludin's Ekko. Great item, right? Okay, now, we're gonna talk about how to deal with him now. So against Corki pre-level 6. Now keep in mind, guys, keep in mind that his ulti has, once he throws one, and the second rocket, the third one does increased magic damage and has a higher explosion radius when it lands. That's something you want to watch out for, and I'll get to that in a sec. His Q does magic damage. His Gatling gun reduces your armor and MR based on how many ticks it has. The ticks of the Gatling gun on your champion lasts for 2 seconds, no matter how many stacks it is. His Gatling gun has a total of 8 stacks. So, yeah, you want to be careful. Each stack basically reduces your armor and MR. So, typically most Corki players will use Gatling gun and then use their Q, because Q is their main damage spell. So, boop, they Q you. They deal more damage to you because you have lower MR and lower armor, but they have to do that in 2 seconds. So some Corkis will actually be a little patient and wait to get some amount of stacks and then Q. Some Corki players will actually just Q first and then E. But yeah, most Corki players will actually use the Gatling gun first. It just makes sense. You know, I don't play Corki, but it just makes sense that I've seen Corki players do this all the time. Even the Corki players I've played against, all these champions I've played against, I know how they think, I know what they do, so I have like a good image of what a typical Corki player would do in certain situations. So that's what you want to watch out for, sorry, right? That's what you want to watch out for Corki. Keep in mind of special delivery. You can hear that that sound comes in, and then you know he's gonna rush mid. So if you kill him in lane and then you hear that sound, just don't stay in lane after. Get the hell out, right? Now, pre-level 6. How do you punish a Corki? What is the best way to all-in a Corki? How do you destroy him, right? The best way actually is when he doesn't have Q. Let's say he missed the Q on you, or he doesn't have it. He's gonna be forced to Valkyrie once you go after him, right? So he Qs, okay, he Qs, throws a Q, misses, or you know, tries to hit you but missed. Okay, at this point, you want to jump on him, basic attack, WQ, okay, let the W land, get the spin, and then shampoo on the Q dagger. But but he will Valkyrie most of the time. Here's the good part. I'm gonna get to the good part here. Katarina's Q will always follow the target. So if you Q and then he Valkyries, that dagger is gonna land 350 units, lands, and then the Q hits, bounces, like he's here, Q's here, right? Here's the dagger, there's him, okay? I'm so bad at explaining this right now, I'm sorry. I'm fucking using the fingers and shit, right? But yeah, the Q dagger lands there, you get the W reset. So it lands, you get the spin, you get the reset, and then instantly shampoo on the dagger where he Valkyried, and that's how you can get close to him. The best way. That's amazing, that the Q dagger falls. However, good Corki players will actually wait for you to use your Q and then Valkyrie, so that they know that Katarina's Q will follow them after they Valkyrie, and they know that you could try to all in that, right? But thankfully there isn't many Corki players that think that way, right? These are like, we're talking about Diamond 1 Master Tier Corki players here. They would think that way because they know Katarina, they know her strength, but not everyone's gonna think that way. That's the good part. So you can really, really take advantage of that. There's a lot of stupidity, right? There's a lot of things like that. So understanding the enemy champion is so important. That's why I'm making this little series on how to deal with all these champions, because there are some things maybe you didn't know about them that it's so easy to deal with if you just experiment and find out and, you know, get that knowledge, right? So anyways, so that's how you punish a Corki. If he doesn't have his Q, best way. If he doesn't have Valkyrie, that's even better. So let's say like the scenario I just explained, you went on him, he Valkyried, you jump on the Q dagger, spin, and then let's say he retaliated with Gatling gun, because his Gatling gun is still up, right? So he fights back, and then you shampoo on the minion wave to go back to the landing phase. At this point, he doesn't have Valkyrie, because he just used it to walk away. So you can actually punish him again, right? Once you have your shampoo back up again, instantly go on him again. He's just wasting mana. He's just wasting mana to escape you every time. So that's the good part. So at this point, he has no Valkyrie, he cannot escape, but he has Q. Now you want to be careful, because his Q is just... that shit sucks, right? You don't want to get Q'd. So you press E, basic attack, QW, he's gonna throw Q. So instantly walk to the right or to the left, you know, dodge the Q, walk back to the W dagger, and then shampoo on the Q dagger that you threw, and then press Alt. He has no Valkyrie, he has shitload of mana, and that's really the best way to deal with Corki pre-level 6, is just punish his abilities, punish what he's doing, and really just out-damage him. You actually out-damage him in every way in the early stages of the game, because you have longsword start, and that shit hurts bad, right? Like, it's just amazing, right? That's the best way to deal with Corki pre-level 6. Now let's say you hit level 6, okay? So now he has his ultimate. His ulti does quite a bit of damage, so that's when you want to watch out for. Most of the time during landing phase, once he hits level 6, he's just gonna try to throw rockets. Every third rocket he throws, he has a total of 7 charges on his ultimate, okay? Something to keep... sorry, that's 7. That's 7, Alninio. Alright, he has total 7 charges. He throws 1, throws 2, boom. The third one does 30% increased magic damage and has a higher explosion radius where it lands. So that's the shot you want to be careful of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you left click Corki, you can see when his third rocket is ready to go. I think so. So typically you want to try to all-in Corki when he doesn't have that third rocket ready. So that's the best way, because you don't want him to deal as much damage as possible, right? So you want to really just try to all-in him when he doesn't have the third rocket. So, or you can just count, right? He throws 1, 2, you know the third one's ready to go. You want to not all-in him. No matter what, guys, even if he uses Q, right? He uses Q on you and misses, even then, that Q shit really hurts. He can actually fight back and really out-damage you. It's even worse if he has Q too as well. So he can just Q, all rocket, big explosion radius, 30% increased damage, and then Gatling gun. He got you perfectly, right? So you want to be careful from that. However, it's still possible to deal with if you dodge the third rocket, right? So if you E on him and then quickly walk to the left or right, dodge the third rocket, and then Q, W, right, and then do your thing, like I explained. Q, W, get the W spin, shampoo on the Q dagger. At this point, you need to also dodge his Q. So really, there's a lot of things to dodge here. You can see, like, you have to really play it smart. You have to really just know that you have to be cautious of these abilities that are up. You can't just do things. You can't just go in and like, I'm Katarina, I don't care, I'm just gonna kill everyone, right? You have to really think about this. You have to think, this guy has cooldowns, this guy's damage really hurts. I need to know that his third rocket's gonna really wreck me at this stage of the game, you know? Watch out for that, guys. Just watch out for that. Know how to punish it properly. Dodge the third rocket, dodge his Qs, punish his third rocket. Let's say he threw a third rocket in lane and he missed Q. He's so vulnerable, right? All he has is Valkyrie. Your Q will still follow him even after he Valkyries. Just time it right. Try to, as soon as he jumps up, because he jumps up and then moves, right? That's his Valkyrie. He walks like this, jump, move. As soon as you see him go up like this, whoosh, whoosh, instantly throw that Q. Alright, you see this dagger right here? Alright, you see this dagger right here? Boom! Hit him like that, let that shit bounce, right? So you hit him that way. Punish him for that, guys. You need to punish the Corki for trying to be aggressive to you in lane. So punish his shit, all in. That's the best way to do it, and that's really the best way to deal with Corki in laning phase. Now we move on to teamfights. In teamfights, not much to talk about. I mean, you just want to watch out for him. You know, his special delivery is going to be annoying. Baron fights, dragon fights, he can really change the tide of battle with special delivery. So always watch for the ta-ta-ta. You always want to watch out for that sound. Once it's up, you want to really be careful and try to predict where he's going to use that special delivery. Those are things to watch out for. Other than that, he's so easy to kill. He mainly does magic damage. I forgot to mention that his Gatling gun does both AP and AD damage on and off. So he does AD and AP damage, but mostly he's AP damage, guys. His Q does AP damage, magic damage. It's all magic damage, guys. All of it. Really, that's about it for Corki. Nothing much else to say. I think we pretty much nailed everything for Corki. So that's about it for Corki, guys. Alright, so as you can see now, Corki is whoosh, jotted out. Right, so number 4 is Diana. Again, same masteries. We go for the same runes. It's an AP champion, so we go for the same runes. Alright. There you go. And we start Longsword, Health Pot, and Gunblade. Same thing. You always go Gunblade. Not gonna go too deep into that, as I've already explained it in the previous matchups. Right? Ruden, Rylai, Abyssal Scepter, Rabadon, and Zhonya. Most of the time, against a Diana, a lot of players would go Abyssal, because her ulti damage is actually pretty crazy. I wouldn't disagree with you there. I mean, Abyssal is great against these type of burst AP champions. It's good against the Diana. If you feel like you need Abyssal against Diana, go for it. However, there's nothing wrong with Rylai and Luden as well. If you're snowballing and you're kicking ass, go Luden. If you need like something quick and you need something that's really good and consistent and cheap, go Rylai. Rabadon, nope, do not go Rabadon. Again, I don't even know why I put it there, but it's just like I put it there just in case people would think, why not go Rabadon after Diana? I usually would never go Rabadon at this stage of the game because of the Rabadon's passive, right? Which is better off after you buy some decent amount of AP. Zhonya is okay, nothing wrong about that. Zhonya is a decent item against Diana. But overall, I would typically go Rylai, Abyssal, or Luden, depending on the situation of the laning phase, depending if I'm snowballing, depending if I need the money, or depending if that Diana is just so much damage and really annoying. So, depends. Now, we're going to teach you guys how to deal with that Diana pre-level 6, after level 6. So, things to watch out for Diana, things to really know is that her E costs a lot of mana, like so much mana, like she uses 1 E, I think it's 70 mana. Like, that's a lot, okay? That's a lot of mana, and I think it's even more every time she gets a point in it, right? So, if you see a Diana that keeps using E like that, it's amazing. Like, here's the thing, right? The more you all-in Diana, the more of a chance Diana's gonna use E and waste mana. Because this is a reactionary thing that Diana players would do when you all in someone, right? So say you all in him, he presses W, right? But you want to be careful because her W is actually pretty strong, and you don't want to deal with shields. Shields are bullshit, right? But I'm just gonna say real quick about her E. You know, you go in, they use E. You go in again, she uses E. The more keeps using E, and she's already no mana. That's where you want to get Diana. That's what you want to get her at this choke point where she cannot do much because she has low mana. That's something to keep in mind of Diana, okay? Now her W, the best way to deal with her W is to actually wait. Don't try to all in her when her W is up. Really, that's the best way. I mean, the best way to deal with Diana W is actually just not to all in. A lot of the times though, it's not a bad idea to all in because you want to force her to use E, but keep in mind you'll receive damage back to you, so something to watch out for. Once you see Diana use W in laning phase, pre-level 6, she uses W maybe to clear waves, which by the way, no Diana should do. You shouldn't use your E to actually clear a wave. You use your Q and basic attacks. Another thing to watch out for, punish her Qs. You know, let's say she uses a Q and she hits the wave or something. Now she doesn't have her main source of damage, which is her Q, right? She needs her Q. She maxes Q. All Diana players max Q. Sometimes not all. Some people actually put 2 points in W and 2 points in Q early with Diana because you get extra shield from W, which by the way is actually a pretty smart way to play Diana. You don't always max Q, so they have like 2 points in Q, 2 points in W. Most Diana players, the good ones, they do that. So if they don't have the Q damage, you can actually all in. So E, basic attack, Q, W, okay, or W, Q. Same shit. You know, I just press them together like that because the W has like an animation thing. It's like it leaves you. Sometimes you press things too fast and they don't work, right? Especially the W. When you press it like really fast, like EWR or something like that, the W doesn't actually work. So you want to EWQ, right, or EQW. I just press them together, guys. It's like this. My fingers go like this, like that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can press WQ. It's also the same thing, really. It's fine. Right? I just do it that way because it's like I want to be snappy, right? So W lands, I get the spin on the W, and then I E on the Q dagger. At this point, she could use E, she could use W. So hard to tell exactly what this Diana does. She can easily use E here and use a whole bunch of mana, which is 100% worth it. And then once you get the spin on the Q, just jump back to your minion wave. You know, get the hell out. You know, avoid her. Really, that's about it. Pre-level 6 Diana. It's not like there's not much threat behind Diana. The only threatening thing is if she lands every Q. Make sure, by the way, guys, to dodge as many Diana Qs as possible. It goes in a curve, so you need to plan out how to dodge that, right? So just you can actually get like inside the curve, but some Dianas would actually use it differently. So you want to be careful. The best way to do it is just stay back, watch out for a Q. Don't try to last hit a CS when she's right there in front of you. She will just W and then just walk through minion waves. That's the thing that she does, is that because if she has a shield, she doesn't care about minion aggro. She can just walk through the minions, basic attack, get her third basic attack, Q you. You know, it's pretty annoying. She has this sort of advantage in lane because of her W. So the best way to deal with that is actually wait for her cooldowns. Well, good Diana players will always use W during laning phase, but you overall, to be honest, you out damage her because you have a longsword start and you have good damage. But the best way to deal with Diana is wait for her to use W in lane, okay? Or let her, like I said, most Diana players would press W and then walk through minion aggro to try and damage you. After that, use your all-in, right? Force her to use E. Just the best way is that she uses E. Like, once she uses E, you're so happy. Like, as soon as she uses E, it's worth it. Because the more she uses it, the less mana she'll have. And that's always good. Really, really good. So you want to get to that point. You want to get to that stage where she's losing mana. She's very mana hungry when she uses E. So Diana mains are going to be careful not to spam E too much. Other than that, once you hit level 6, you can start being a little bit more careful with her QR. Try to avoid the Q damage, because then she will R to you, WE, that shit sucks, does quite a bit of damage. So dodge Q and completely neglect her damage. That's the best way. Her Q is her main source of damage, If she misses Q, she loses out on a lot of things. So that's when you want to all in, even if she has W. Just be careful not to auto attack her as she has the shield. So just walk around, walk back. Just walk around, walk back. Try to avoid basic attacking her or hurting her or using your R for the most. Do not use R when she has W. When she uses E, you can use R. Even if she has shield, your R is gonna it's the best way to punish her E. You have to punish her E at that exact time. Even if she shields you, let your R go all the way through. The best way to deal with Diana, the best way to punish her is when she doesn't have W and she doesn't have Q. Best way. That's how you deal with a Diana in lane. And it doesn't matter if she has E. If it's a good Diana, like I said, it depends if it's a good Diana player or not. Good Diana players will save their E. Bad Diana players will always like, oh shit, Katarina's on my face, E, right? They just mash E because they're scared of you. You just all in them like that. So you gotta hope that the player is stupid at some points. But even if it's a good Diana player, you can still beat her. Overall, she's not the toughest matchup ever, but she's manageable. She's also melee, so you want to be careful not to get hit by her third auto attack. Because if you get too close to a minion and she's sitting right there in front of you, she can actually basic attack, she has her third attack, and then once you walk up to last hit, boom, she doesn't even have to attack you directly, she can attack a minion, and that splash thing, the curve, will actually still hit you. So you want to be careful when you're last hitting. Always watch for her third basic attack. Good Diana players will get 2 basic attacks, and then QR, basic attack, because then they have the third attack ready to go. So QR, third basic attack, right? They can do that. So that's something you want to watch out for. Don't allow her. You have Shampoo. Shampoo is so easy to just dodge bullshit like that. It's super easy. Just make sure you use Shampoo, dodge her bullshit. All in her when she doesn't have Q. Really, that's about it. That's about it for Diana. If you enter late stage of the game and team fights, you want to watch out for her, because she does quite a bit of damage. Her E will still be annoying. She has decent amount of shield by the late game, because every point in her W increases the amount of shield she has. Other than that, you want to mainly not focus her in the late game. You want to get rid of their carries, their Zyra supports, their brand supports. Focus the main targets. Be wise with decision making. That's really about it for Diana, guys. There's not much more to say because she doesn't have like an extreme wide mechanical depth. Like we just know what she does. You know, we know what Diana players would typically do. So that's really it for Diana, guys. All right, next up is Ekko. Against Ekko, these are the room page we use against Ekko. Same masteries, guys. Same masteries. We use versus AP runes. Okay. Longsword start, health pot, and gunblade. Same thing, guys. We're not gonna get too deep into that because we've explained this already. Ludin's Ekko, Rally, Abyssal. These are the item options. Rabadon and Zhonya. Ludin, really good against Ekko. Ekko has shields and shit, but Ludin is still really good against Ekko because you have burst and you force him to use R, which is still good. If you snowball against Ekko, go Ludin. Ryla is okay as well. It gives you HP. It's cheap in the situation. If you need it, grab it. Abyssal's actually pretty good against Ekko, so if you feel like he's threatening and you need Amar, go for Amar. I usually would just go either of these 2 items. I usually don't go Abyssal as much because I'm kind of confident and I just go with what I think is right, either Ludin or Rylai. Rabadon, forget it. You don't get Rabadon after Gunblade, no matter how hard you're snowballing. If you snowball, buy Ludin and then Rabadon. Wait for here, don't buy Rabadon instantly. Zhonya is actually really good, because when he Rs, you can actually avoid the R damage with Zhonya. So it's okay, but I wouldn't prioritize Zhonya. Like, it's okay, but I wouldn't prioritize it. I think even Rylai is a better option than Zhonya, because Rylai gives you HP, and it's actually a really good item, and it's cheap. So, there's an upside to that. But once again, there's nothing wrong with Zhonya either. Ekko pre-level 6, you want to watch out for his Q. The best way to actually deal with Ekko pre-level 6 is to actually wait for him to Q the wave, and you're good. Like, seriously. That's it. That's all you have to do in laning phase in terms of punishment. Because his Q is his main way of actually getting the his passive down. That's another thing you want to watch out for, his passive. Don't let him get 3 hits on you, just like that. You know, don't sit there in melee range. He will out-trade you every time if you just basic attack him back and he basic attacks you. You want to make use of your abilities. So always try to like be mobile and don't let him auto-attack you that much. Don't let him get 3 strikes. He has an easier time landing 3 strikes with his Q, so keep in mind of that. So yeah, if he throws Q in lane, punish him. E, basic attack, QW, let the W land, get a spin on W, get a spin on Q. That's the best way to actually punish him pre-level 6. You can typically all-in him at level 2. If he tries bullshit, if he misses Q, you can actually all-in him. Just be careful when the Q comes back. Try to dodge that, don't receive a free passive, you know, just walk away from it. Dodge to the right or left, just be careful. Don't get hit by Q. You know, you want to be smart about it. You don't necessarily have to wait for the Q to come back and then all in, because you kind of want to catch Ekko by surprise. Like, he'll Q and then he'll just sort of walk around, wait for his Q to come back, position himself to get rid of minions in your lane. You could wait, but most of the time when Ekko Qs and he misses me and he just uses it on minions, I'll just directly jump him and position my Shumpo, like I direction Shumpo in a position where I don't receive the Q damage that comes back. So I position to the right of him, not exactly to the back of him. So you want to be able to retaliate like that accordingly. So you want to be careful. That's how you really deal with him pre-level 6. Now, once he hits level 6, that's when he starts to get annoying. Watch out for his E, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Watch out for his E. It's a pretty big dash, right? E, basic attack, whacks you, and then Q, basic attack, he gets his passive, right? So that's something you want to watch out pre-level 6 and when he gets level 6. Because he will still do this at level 6. He has no reason not to do this still. So you want to be careful of that. The best thing is that when you receive... The way to receive minion aggro is with basic attacks. So Ekko has a basic attack on his E, so he has to basic attack you and then he'll receive minion aggro. So you can actually punish him for that and just WQR on the spot, and you let your minions fight him because he received aggro. The thing is, Ekko has to receive aggro because most of the time he has to basic attack you to get his passive. So use that to your advantage, you know, be smart about it. If you think you have the advantage, don't be scared to actually fight back because you actually whoop his ass in a lot of scenarios. His W, he will use it mostly in the Fog of War, so you know, you want to be careful from that as well. You know, just, you can hear the sound of it, you see it on the ground, just watch out for that. Once he hits level 6, now that he has his ult, he can escape pretty much any situation. All-inning an Ekko at level 6 isn't the smartest thing in the world, but in a lot of situations it actually is. You always want to watch for his Ekko shadow, the one that follows him around. If you see the position of it on top of you, get the hell out. Like, don't give him a chance to ult you, right? If you see the shadow on top, get the hell out. Shumpo back to your minion. You know, Shumpo away, just get out. Even if you all-in an Ekko, he will mostly use R, right? So you want to have Shumpo ready here, okay? So here's how it goes, right? Let's say, he throws Q, okay? He throws Q on your minions. Now you E on him, basic attack, Q, W, right? You wait for the W dagger to go down, right? You get it. And then at this point, if you did a lot of damage to him, he's gonna press R, right? So then you have the Q dagger. So you Shumpo on that Q dagger to avoid the ult damage. But if he doesn't use his ulti at this point, you can just Shumpo on the Q dagger and watch him walk back. And he could try to fight back, by the way, so you want to be careful. At this point, you can press R, and then your Shumpo's ready, right? You have your Shumpo now, you got the Q spin, you have your Shumpo reset. At this stage, you want to look at his ult shadow as you're pressing ult. Like, don't just ult and look at Ekko, look at his shadow. Because you know he wants to ulti. He will ulti. If he's dropping low, he's gonna ult. And most Ekkos will actually wait till their shadow is on top of you to get the damage to actually kill you. So once you see that, Shumpo directly on Ekko himself or on any minion around to avoid the damage. And that's successful skirmish against Ekko. You know, you both fought back, but most of the time you'd actually out-trade an Ekko because you punished him and he didn't have Q. So if he doesn't get passive proc down, that's the best thing that can happen. So Most of the time he will try to get basic attack proc because he has basic attacks, so he can do that, but you want to be careful. Always watch his ult shadow. That's the best real way to deal with Ekko. And really that's about it. The best way to actually kill Ekko after level 6 is when he doesn't have ult. When he doesn't have ult, he's so vulnerable. You don't care if he has Q, you don't care if he has E, you don't care if he has W. You only care about R at this stage of the game. You only care about his R. If he doesn't have ult, punish that shit on the spot. And the way to tell if Ekko doesn't have ult is when you don't see a shadow behind him. You don't see a line that connects him with his clone. So that's really the best way to tell if he doesn't have ult or not. It's so easy to punish. I would typically, seriously, I would all in Ekko every time he doesn't have ult, because that is such a huge vulnerability that he has. A big one. He can use W to shield himself, by the way, so you want to watch over that. It can also stun you, so it can cancel your Death Lotus, but you want to be careful when you do things like that. You want to be able to dodge parallel convergence. Use your shampoo all the time to dodge shit, even when you're all in. You know, predict that he's gonna W and just walk back. As soon as you hear that, you know, he makes that sound when he rides his W. As soon as you see it ready up, get the hell out. Even if you're in the middle of Death Lotus, don't let him get a free stun on you. When he has shield on the W, don't fight back. Wait for his shield to finish, okay? His shield's finishing. Finished, boom. Collapse. Go in. Shampoo on him, because you don't want to use your abilities when he has a shield. Always wait for the shield to die and then go in. So that's how you typically deal with Ekko. Other than that, in team fights, he's a little annoying because he has his R, it always saves him. So you want to be careful from him. Most of the time, you're always going to be focusing their carries and all that shit, so you want to do that. You want to focus their Desire support, their AD carry Quinn, their AD carry Jhin. You want to always focus these guys. Ekko can still manageable. It's still manageable to kill Ekko, so most Ekkos would typically, you know, go for Lich Bane, etc., etc. Some build HP, like Roa and things like that, but not all Ekkos. So it really depends here how you play. Late game, it really just depends on your mechanical skill. I can only tell you, like, you can improve mechanically within experience. Like, mechanical things cannot be taught. These are things you have to experience in game and get better at. I can tell you the information, I can tell you how to deal with them, but reaction timing and all these mechanical things of how you deal with the situation is in your hands. You have the information, you deal with it accordingly. It's all in your hands. You have the game knowledge. Game knowledge is very important. That's what makes you a good player. That's what makes you decide mechanically really good. Because a lot of players would say mechanics is the most important thing to climb elo, right? But it's actually not. You need both game knowledge and mechanical decision making, right? You need both. If you're like, let's say 1 out of 5 in mechanics and 5 out of 5 game knowledge, you can actually climb really well. But even if your mechanics are shit, you can still climb really well because you have good game knowledge. So, you know, these players would typically not be good at playing mechanical champions, like Katarina, for example. I don't know why I'm saying this right now, but I just wanted to, you know, throw that out there. Like, don't think you're a bad player just because you're having bad games. Mechanical things can be improved, but you also need the game knowledge aspect of that. You need to be able to have both. Alright, you need to be good at this and this, okay? You need to punish cooldowns, punish flash timers, no flash timers, no exhaust timers, barrier timers. Just expand your knowledge. You know, you need to know everything if you want to really climb. If you want to climb solo queue, you need to know everything. You don't need to just know how to play Katarina mechanically, like do I just press W at this time or Q at this time? Those are also really good. Like, you need to know this, but also you need to know how to punish cooldowns, when to enter team fights. All this really comes together, guys. So keep in mind, okay, guys? Always keep in mind that you're not a shit player, alright? Don't listen to idiots who say that type of shit. You can actually be good if you just keep practicing mechanically. So, just throwing it out there, alright? Just throwing it out there. Okay, guys? We're gonna move on now to Ezreal. So, Ezreal, against Ezreal, I would typically go for the same masteries as I explained earlier. Same thing, masteries wouldn't change. I go versus AP, health but of seals, instead of armor. Health Bomb Seals are still good against Ezreal, so go with that. Same rune page that we use all the time against every single matchup. Longsword, Health Pot, and Gunblade. Okay? And of course we have all the item options against Ezreal. Here they are. Boom. As always, guys, main items are here. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I've been talking for like an hour long or something. This is gonna be a long video, isn't it? So you got these items, okay? Always go for these. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items right here. You can go Luden against Ezreal 100% of the time, because Luden crushes Ezreal, because Ezreal is a squishy poke type of champion. He's not a burst champion like LeBlanc, Annie, so I'd always go Luden in this matchup. Rylai is also good, nothing wrong with Rylai. These 2 items are always my 2 items that I decide between, but there are other options, but I wouldn't go for them. Personally, I just go for these 2 up here. Can't point the fucking there, like this. Yes. Right, so you go with one of these 2 items. Abyssal, no. Never. It doesn't matter. It's Ezreal. Do not go Abyssal against Ezreal. It doesn't matter. The thing is, he's so damn squishy that you don't have to worry about building defensive stats. Abyssal is good, yes, but it's not something you have to get against Ezreal. It doesn't matter if you're 0-3 and he's 3-0 and he destroyed you in lane. The fact remains, he is squishy champion. You can kick his ass with Gunblade and Luden. If you're not making enough money and you can't buy Luden, get Rylai. Don't get Abyssal. If you feel like you're weakened in lane and you can't get shit done, get Rylai. Do not buy this against Ezreal, period. Rabadon, up to you. Again, I would say no to this. Even if you're snowballing, I always go Luden and then Rabadon, like I explained in the previous matchups. And then lastly, Zhonya. Completely optional if you want Zhonya because of the active, but I wouldn't go for this against Ezreal, guys. I think it's self-explanatory. It's Ezreal, he's so squishy. Why use your money on Zhonya when you can buy a Rylai or a Luden that can destroy him, right? So I would typically go Luden or Rylai, depending on my situation. Okay, so against Ezreal, pre-level 6, you want to watch out for his poking. It gets a little annoying, but other than that, you have such a complete advantage over Ezreal. I mean, honestly, this isn't the hardest matchup in the world, guys. Ezreal's so easy to deal with because you outtrade him completely in the early stages of the game. Sure, he has E, but you don't give a shit. You have Q, and you just Q him when he E's, your Q follows him when he E's, and then you get W spin, and then shove on the Q dagger, and just kill him. Like, seriously, you can actually kill him like that with Thunderlord proc and Longsword start. You can actually kill him at level 2 or level 3. He's so squishy. Doesn't matter if he is, just use your resets. Use your dagger resets to gap close to him. So easy. Such an easy matchup in the early stages of the game. You don't want to get poked too much here, guys. Avoid Ezreal poke by sitting behind your minions. You always want to do that. Just sit back behind minions. Don't let them poke you. Very simple. Other than that, whenever you recall and you're like half HP or low HP, always put your mouse towards like where you think Ezreal will be, and just watch yourself and watch if he uses ultimate, because his ultimate will come and then he will kill you because you're in the shop. Oh shit, okay, what should I buy next? Rylai, Luden, oh shit, I died because I wasn't paying attention, right? So whenever you see someone who has a global ultimate like GP ult, Ezreal ult, Jinx ult, always press tab to make sure who has global ults, and then recall in a safe spot where you think that person will not ulti. So just as a tip against Ezreal, okay, you always want to see the Ezreal ult animation and then instantly start moving. The best way to deal with this, guys, I'll tell you. Move your mouse away from your champion, like to where you think he's gonna ult, on his side of the map, okay? You see it coming? Oh shit, it's coming. You press space to go back to your champion. Press space. It locks on your champion instantly. Hold it down. Or you don't have to hold it down. Just tap it once to go back to your champion. And then instantly press right click and move away. That's one way to deal with Ezreal ult, to see it coming. You have to predict that he will ult no matter what. If he used ult recently, you don't have to worry about it. That's just that simple. So yeah, pre-level 6, you know, sit behind your minions, play aggressive, play really aggressive. I mean, we're talking about Ezreal here, guys. We're not talking about someone who's particularly obnoxious to deal with. You kick his ass, you out damage him so much. Make use of your early AD ratios on your passive and spin. Just kick his ass, guys. Kick his ass. He's so easy to deal with. Jump on him as much as you can. There isn't much punishing you can do. I mean, the one thing you can do is punish his E. If he decides to do stupid shit like try to E towards you, he is fucked. Like, period. You just go on him. Shampoo, basic attack, QW, he doesn't have escape. He's forced to flash. And if he's forced to flash, worth it. Just Q him, even try to get him after the flash, get a W reset, shampoo on the Q dagger, and get another reset there. So, it's just make sure you land basic attacks, guys. You're playing AD early, yeah, you're buying AD damage early. By the way, the sun's actually almost coming up, you see that? The sun's almost coming up. I've put so much fucking effort into this videos. God damn it. I hope you guys appreciate that. If you reached this far in the video, please leave a like. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video for this long. Anyways, against Ezreal, you know, he's so easy to destroy. You just E, basic attack, QW. He gets destroyed. I mean, there isn't much thought process here for Ezreal players. They get fucked, right? Period. They get destroyed. But yeah, when he doesn't have E, because it's on like a 10+ second cooldown, he's so easy to kill. I mean, that's really the best way to deal with him pre-level 6. Once he hits level 6, sure, he has an ultimate. If you see any allies on your team that are low HP, make sure you ping them. The best way to do this is look on top of your minimap, look at your allies' HP, see if someone's low health. Press F2, F3, F4, or F5 based on the direction of where they are. So let's say my support is Zyra, and she's 5th in the scoreboard here. Okay, let's say this is the minimap here, scoreboard here, right? Zyra's like 5th in the scoreboard, so you press F5 to go to her. So press F5, you instantly go to her champion. Press V, left click, fall back, and then type care as ult. That easy. Help your team, right? If you wanna improve at the game, you wanna expand and understand and start predicting like who might die on your team. Like, never. I see a lot of people. I swear, a lot of people. You know, as they're buying and they walk to middle lane, they just sit like this. They sit like this, and they watch their champion go back to lane. Okay, they don't do anything. They just watch. Okay, when am I gonna get back to lane? I need to farm. Okay, what did I have for food yesterday? I forgot. What are we gonna have for dinner? I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. Oh shit! My Zyra died. Oh my god. Fuck you, Zyra. Watch out for Ez ult. You know what I mean? Like, help your team. You know, don't just brain AFK and start thinking other shit. You want to constantly look at your team, like F2, F3, F4, F5, see who's low, watch out for like Ez ult. It's also your job to help your team win the game. So just tell them about shit like this. Don't let them you know, do things for themselves. You can help them. You know, you're a team player. You guys are a team. Work together. Tell them be careful Ez ult, or you can tell your whole team be careful Ez ult. You know, you don't have to press F2, F3, F4, F5 to ping them back. Maybe like, let's say everyone's low health. You just type, you know, be careful Ez ult. That's about it. During lane, it's not like annoying because it's pretty easy to dodge Ez ult. You see him go, whoosh, and then he throws it out. Right? You see the animation of him rising from the ground. So it's very easy to see. It's easy to dodge. But yeah, mostly you punish his E because his E is his only escape and his only mobility skill. He's very immobile. So, you know, that's about it, guys. That's really about it for Ezreal. Not much too deep in it here, guys. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, guys, so I put Fiddlesticks and I made this little, I'm using Rift Kit to show you guys this. Because the reason I put Fiddlesticks in here is because Fiddlesticks jungle is actually pretty threatening, and you guys need to know like how to deal with it properly. So the best way to deal against Fiddlesticks really is to actually, once he hits level 6, he becomes annoying. I'm talking about Fiddlesticks jungle, by the way, not Fiddlesticks mid lane, because you'll never see a Fiddlesticks mid lane. Most of the time he's a jungler, and if he's mid lane, really it's so easy to deal with him because he's so squishy. He's so squishy. That's the thing about Fiddle, he's so squishy. So you don't care about him too much in lane. In lane, pre-level 6, you just all in him. And he can't really retaliate. He silences you, he fears you, big deal. You just are. And he has actually no way to actually kill you because you out-damage him completely. And really, that's really it. Other than that, once he hits level 6, that's where he becomes a threat. That's when he starts ulting over these walls and these little bushes. That's when you want to be careful. But okay, let's give you a scenario here, okay? Enemy jungler here, letter J. Okay, enemy. You're blue, they're red team. Okay. Now let's say you are pushing the lane, okay? You're pushed. Okay. In this scenario, guys, I'm gonna let you guys know what would Fiddlesticks do in this situation, okay? He's walking like this now, okay? He's walking. Alright, he's walking towards this direction. Okay, he gets the wraiths. Now after he gets wraiths and he sees you pushed like this, I'm gonna stop the video for a sec. So, Fiddlesticks will go here. He takes the wraiths, and he sees you pushed like this. I want you guys to tell me, what would Fiddlesticks do here? He's level 6, okay? This is a point where Fiddlesticks is level 6. So, at this stage of the game, he could just press R. Boom! Caw-caw, 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 caw-caw! Alright, and the mid laner, boom! Collapse on you, you're dead. Goodbye, you're dead. So, how do you play against this? Okay, how do you play against Fiddlesticks jungle? How do you manage this? Even if you're standing here, by the way, you're not exactly particularly safe against Fiddlesticks jungle. The best way to deal with him is... I'll let you guys answer this, actually. What do you guys think? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Vision, exactly. Vision is the best way. So, I'm going to show you guys the best ward spots against Fiddlesticks jungle. Okay. Put totem here. Here is a very, very good ward. Here. I'm just showing you standard best green ward. Okay, here and here. Right there. Okay. This is when you're pushing, by the way. This is when you're actually pushing. Oh, sorry. Move that real quick. Right. Here. Here's also good. You can see them coming to the river. These are good totem spots right here. You can also put a ward right here to see if he's doing red buff. That's also very important. Knowing where the enemy Fiddlesticks is a huge advantage. So for example, let's say Fiddlesticks ganked top lane. You have this information. Like, you know he's top lane, he's ganking top lane, okay? At this stage of the game and you're pushed like this, you can even all in the enemy mid laner and dive him if you have the upper hand, if you have the advantage over that champion. But knowing that Fiddlesticks is top lane, you have more options. You can actually push lane and then walk here and roam bot lane and gank bot lane, because you know Fiddlesticks is top lane. He's not gonna be down here to help. He's not gonna be like... Fiddlesticks is not gonna be here waiting to ulti, because you know he's top lane. So make use of that information and decide as a mid laner what you're going to do next. You know, because he's just chilling up here, right? He doesn't know what a Katarina would do at this stage. So if you're pushed like this and Fiddle stop, go around bot lane, see if there's an opportunity here. If you can't run bot lane, just either recall if you don't have much HP you want to buy, or maybe push and then walk inside the enemy jungle, take his wraiths, and you know, since you're pushed, the enemy mid laner, you know, this is a position where you're really kicking ass in lane, right? You push and then you take wraiths and then walk back, you know, do something. Punish the Fiddlesticks for being up here. You want to punish the enemy jungler. When you see an enemy jungler wherever he is, you need to know that that can be punished really well. Okay, so that's really how you ward against Fiddle. Good pink ward spots would be here. Defensive, nicely, really good pink ward here. It's a risky one, but it's a good one. And remember guys, put it on the edge of the bush because it will reveal more of that area. You will know exactly where, it will just reveal more of the area if you put it on the edge. So you can also see red buff slightly, like you will know if he's doing it or not. So there's a very nice pink ward right here. Okay, so one here, another good one is here. And yeah, these are good pink ward spots. You can put one in the lane bush. Now keep in mind, when you put a lane bush and when you put a pink ward in lane bush, don't put it here. Put it all the way to your side of the map, because you want to pull in that mid laner. You want to pull him in all the way to your side of the map to go take out your pink, right? You want him to be as close towards you as that, because like this, okay, he's taking it. Boom, you're the mid laner. Boom, you're jungler. Hey Vi, let's go kill this mid laner. Okay, Vi ult, you go in, boom, right? He gets fucked, right? Destroyed. So that's why you want to put a pink ward here, just to really drag in the enemies. Even Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks can walk in and try to clear that ward here. So keep in mind of that, alright? You want to keep in mind that that can be punished. And that's a very good way to deal with Fiddlesticks as well. But most Fiddlesticks will not gank from lane bush. But some of them do. So you still want to be careful from that. Most Fiddlesticks will gank like this or gank like this. So that's the situation where you are pushing against the mid laner. These are all examples of you pushing and you're winning lane and you're destroying. Now, in a situation where you're actually being pushed against, the best green ward spots would be here. Totem spots, sorry. Here, he's a very important one here. Very important, because most junglers, most Fiddlesticks junglers would actually gank from this side, from the Wraith camp. Boom, ult you, dive you, kill you, easy, right? Very easy. You're weak already in lane, you're not having a good time, you're being pushed against. This is a good ward. Good pink ward here. So you can see him coming into the jungle. This is a very good one. On the edge of the bush, remember? Not in the middle, not in the back. On the edge. On the very, very edge of that. Okay? Green ward here. And a nice pink ward as well would be here. This is not a bad one. But mostly, to be honest, I would put a pink ward here instead. Don't put it on the left side, because most Fiddlesticks junglers like to dive from Wraith camp. So you want to be careful from that, always. So that's you got this defense measured. Other than that, your jungler should be the one to pink ward here, not you. Tell your jungler, put a pink ward here. Okay, it's his job too. It's not everything's not everything's on you, right? Your jungler needs to know about Fiddlesticks. Like, he needs to know where he'd gank. He's also a major part of the game, not just you. So keep in mind, let your allies know of like where Fiddlesticks might be. If you see Fiddle top, let your own jungler know that, hey, we can do something about this, right? Let's say Fiddlesticks went top lane. You even if you're pushed against, and let's say the wave dies out, you and your jungler could like go in, wait for Fiddlesticks to finish ganking top. Let's say, success kill, high five, top lane, right? He gives him a high five, walks back the lane. Oh, you're fucked, right? Goodbye, Fiddlesticks. Goodbye. Punished, right? Take control of the game. Don't be afraid to call in things when you see them happen. Like, this is such a good way to deal with Fiddlesticks in the jungle. Like, let's say mid lane backed, he recalled, and you know, this is a good scenario. Like, jungle's top, you and your jungler can wait here. Let's say a red buff's up, you can wait in the red buff. He comes in, I'm gonna take this, okay, I'm gonna walk here. Oh shit! He gets fucked, right? So make use of these advantages that you have. So really, these are honestly the best ways to deal with Fiddlesticks jungle, because he's so squishy, right? He's such a squishy champion, and he's manageable. Make sure to always roam, by the way, guys. Always make sure you take roam paths. You know, take roam paths up here whenever you have this opportunity. Knowing where Fiddlesticks is, using green wards, you know, use them where you see fit. I gave you good examples of where, but yeah, these are also good examples. Knowing exactly where he is, put a pink ward here too. Really, really nice. Just really, so much emphasis on knowing where the enemy Fiddle is, because getting ganked by Fiddlesticks is so not fun. So you want to be able to manage against that. He can destroy shit. This middle lane here, he loves it. Fiddlesticks loves to gank here. So you want to be careful from this area right here. Absolutely, want to be careful. So, guys, all right. So, and as you can see now, Fiddlesticks is crossed out. That is about it, everyone. These episodes take a lot of time to record. As you can see, the sun's already up right now. Look at this. Look at that, sun's already up. I'm tired, guys. My voice is dead. I've been talking for quite some time. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm gonna be editing this, of course. I'm gonna cut out the parts where I take out items and all this, so it's gonna be edited, and I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope this helps you out. And these are the champions we talked about in episode 2. Thank you guys so much for watching the Katarina Counterplay series of Maximum Truth and Minimum Bullshit. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a good one. I'm gonna go take a break now. Love y'all. Big heart. Big kiss. And I'll see y'all on the Rift. Peace. Peace out.